South Africa's economy is made up of formal and the informal sector, with millions of people plying their trade in small businesses as informal traders. With an unemployment rate standing at 35.3%, many people are looking to the informal sector to make ends meet. In an effort to make the informal sector more professional in its approach to labor relations, the South African Informal Traders Alliance has partnered with the CCMA to train informal traders in effective labor and employee relations. Joining us right now to learn more about this is Paul Bester, the National Director of Informal Sector Support at the SA Informal Traders Alliance. Thank you very much, Paul, for joining us. This program that you have announced today is going to last for 1 year, where you are training millions or at least thousands of informal traders to actually train others in the long run. Why the need for this particular sort of training right now?
Good evening, and thank you for having me. Yes, well, what we've done is we've, as the informal sector, we understand that, running a small business and a micro business, so it's a lot of issues that happens there. You need to follow protocols and resolutions and issues and permits. And the last thing that you need to worry about is having, when you have employers and employees, when something happens, how to deal with it. And this is the big problem with informal traders as we sit. I call it on a Monday dismissal. Somebody comes to the work on a Monday, and the employer says, look, I don't need you anymore, please go. And that's the end of it. And now this person feels that he's aggrieved, he feels that he's unfairly treated, goes to the CCMA, and the employer now has to spend a lot of money, time away from his business to deal with something that he or she could have avoided had he known the information. So based on that is what the South African Informal Traders Alliance with the CCMA wants to cover. The ILO, the International Labour Organization, has signed a resolution or a recommendation 204, which moves the informal sector to formality. One part of that is for the traders to be, and for a lack of a better word, let's call it labor savvy. Now, they're not labor savvy, and this is going to deal with that issue correctly. It's going to talk on fair labor practices. We want to teach them or give them education on, as I say, fair labor practice. How does negotiations work? How does retrenchment work? Sexual harassment in the workplace. All these issues that from day to day has huge impacts on businesses and small businesses for that matter, which can be avoided had they known the right information. Now, the South African Informal Traders Alliance has called for a project, and you spoke about it a few months ago, on 1 million jobs by the end of 2023. To make that a reality, we need to make sure that the business owners are then adequately knowledgeable and trained into the labor side of things, so that they can be, when they do formalize, they can also be a good labor practice environment. And we try to, for the next year, at least 20,000 business owners and businesses to start off with. And obviously the success ratio will be determined by the CCMA and ourselves taking stock at the end of the year, with the first program starting as soon as next week.
Paul, talk to us about the other support that you think that informal traders who need in South Africa. The sector employs millions of people, and many households actually depend on people who work in this sector. What other support do you think the informal traders need right now as you work through training on building workplace relations, managing conflicts in the workplace, dealing with sexual harassment in the workplace, and effective negotiation skills?
Yes, first and foremost, I'd like to add in your opening statement, you talked about the 35% unemployment rate in South Africa. 35% is only those that has applied and is currently applying for jobs. But those who's not, that are stopped, the despondent, not looking, and the youth makes our unemployment rate more than 46%, or very close to 46%. And the only sector that people approach for that, as soon as somebody loses his or her work, an employment retrenchment or COVID, whatever, it's to become an informal trader, to sell something or to put something out there to sell so that they can at least feed the family at the end of the evening. So that is one thing that the informal sector is currently, and I say that with pride, is the biggest job creator as we speak. So what is the issues that these traders currently have is, first and foremost, how do they apply for permits and how do they become labor sensitive in the market itself? And this is one of the first things that we want to deal with, is with solid, sound labor relations and sound negotiation skills, because a trader without negotiation skills is setting up to fail. He's going to be negotiating issues with the permit, where to stand, negotiating to buy, products to sell off, or raw products to make something else that they need to sell off. So that is very important. So that's one of the first two things that we are going to do immediately, is with the sound labor practice, environment and negotiation skills, and then obviously the sexual harassment in the workplace. I mean, it doesn't matter where we are. South Africa has that tendency that, where women are working, they seem to be always on the shortest end of the stick. So we want to avoid it and make people more, in our fight for gender-based violence, be part of the solution as opposed to be part of the problem. So that is something that we are certainly going to look at and want to implement as soon as possible with our CCMA education series.
Paul Bester, the National Director of the Informal Sector Support at the South African Informal Traders Alliance. Thank you very much for your time.